you talk about the fans and everything. Do you have more fans here in Chicago, and is there any more, I don't want to say emphasis, but more focus for you here being Chicago?
Well, it is the closest track to where I grew up now that we don't have Milwaukee on the schedule. It's about an hour and 40 minutes from my house where I grew up. So, you know, I have to say that I'm really lucky. I always feel like I have a lot of really great fans everywhere I go, and there's a little extra oomph as I drive on out to pit lane. I feel like, you know, there's a few guys that are helping us all get out there that are giving you the little pump of the fist and a little bit of encouragement, and maybe that has to do with being local. I'm not sure, but I always feel really fortunate. So it's difficult for me to really notice. You know, I'm lucky that I don't notice the difference, I guess.
Brian.
MRN Radio. Lewis asked you about comfort level here at this track. What about the fact that you've had seat time here, albeit in an Indy car? Does that help you? Is there anything that transfers to your experience in stock cars here?
I was just saying to my engineer that this track in an Indy car versus a stock car is completely different. They don't even look the same. I came and did a tire test here a couple of weeks ago, and in the Indy car, and you know, I was describing how it looks from perspective in an Indy car around here, and how corners feel flat, and you know, you're running down the inside, down the back, and it doesn't, you know, in a stock car it feels like a big round arc on the way in and a big arc into 3, and it's just, in, you know, in an Indy car you're running so low around the bottom of the track the whole time, and you're going so fast that I feel like the track feels flatter, and it doesn't even look the same, honestly. Other than being familiar with getting in and out of the pits and a little bit about the track, I'm finding really hard to compare the two cars on a track.
Let's go Nate, Shannon, and then probably finish up with Mulhern. We'll let Danica get back to work. Go ahead, Nate.
Nate Ryan, USA Today. Danica, I wanted to follow up on two things. One, you were talking about running the last part of the race more like better than the beginning part of the race. You know, why is that? And when you're talking about that frustration you have to express things to Tony Eury Jr., is there any homework you can do? Is there anything you could do, iRacing, simulation, anything you could do that would improve your comprehension of the setup stuff?
Yeah, I'm always talking to Tony about the car and what we've done and where we're at. It's so much different. It's hard to really. It even took a long time in IndyCar to get used to what everything was and the geometries and how they worked and how you adjust the toes and the cambers, and you know, I kind of know generally where we're at everywhere we go with that kind of thing. But in these, it's, I mean, you got truck arms and chains or something like that. I mean, you've got so much stuff in these cars that you don't even have in an Indy car. So it's not like I mean, the things that I'm familiar with, like spring rates and shocks and cross weight and things like that. I mean, I can understand that, but when it comes to the other stuff, housing and splitting the truck, I mean, it's over my head at this point. I'm starting to get more familiar with some of those things, but you know, I'm just learning as I go. I don't think it's anything you can just digest and learn because you want to in a month or two. You know, it's just gonna take time. You know, I don't know anything. I've never driven stock cars before, so you know, a lot of these guys have, you know, a lot of experience and they came up this way. So you know, it's ingrained in them, just like an Indy car is ingrained in me. So I think it just takes time. I've started to try and get into the iRacing a little bit, and I think I was over at Tony Jr.'s house the other day, and I was on it, and I came here. I ran on Chicago in a truck, and I basically spun out in a straight line the whole time. So that was a little hard. It's like it's harder to drive in a straight line in a video game than it is in real life. So it's for me, I've always there's no feel there. There's no feedback. There's no butt. There's no real hands. It's just we're looking ahead. It's just looking at the screen. So it's almost like you have to learn how to play the game a little bit. But I think that, you know, I can learn a bit from the drafting. You know, if there's a track I'm unfamiliar with that I haven't been to, I think I'll probably go there in an Indy car on the game, and where I have a bunch of grip and and run around flat, so I can visually see it, because the visual of it on the game is familiar, but other than that, it's just watching old in-car cameras or race broadcasts from years past and doing as much as I can. But you know, if it was as easy as just getting the information and looking at it, everybody would do that and be on pace right away, but it just takes time.
Shannon.
Hello. Hi. Shannon Spake, ESPN. You spoke a little bit about your Indy series and how that season's gone. I know there weren't a ton of expectations. You just kind of wanted to get out there and get laps here in this series. But how do you think things have progressed here, in the Nationwide series? And then a follow-up to that is just as far as respect on the racetrack, how would you rate the respect that you're getting from the other drivers?
Well, I think that as far as the season has gone, I think it's okay. I mean, I'm not lighting the world on fire by any means. It's that hard, I wished I was, and I think a couple of the things I've done this year have been okay. I was happy with, the first ARCA race, and I know the competition is not what it is in necessarily in Nationwide, but running well in that and figuring it out in the Daytona race. I just started to get the hang of it. Vegas I thought was pretty decent, being sort of up. I think hopefully it would have been like if I would have stayed in the race somewhere in the top 10, which would have been fantastic. But, also one of the things that I just thought of is that, everybody else is in there. I don't know, what race number are we on for Nationwide? Like, it's a whole IndyCar season. Everybody's been in the car every week, so just like an IndyCar, you kind of get into more and more of a rhythm, more comfortable, more, quicker up to speed, everything. And here I am, come back after a couple of weeks. Or, it's big breaks, and so it's harder to be right up to speed with them when they're just in it every week. So, and the fact that I just have a lot to learn. I don't want to make excuses. It's hard. So I think it's been okay. I don't know what else to say. I'm learning, I'm learning, and that's what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm learning with people watching, which is hard, but it's just the way it is, and I'm lucky that people are watching. So, hopefully I have a good weekend and people will be watching. But, and then what's the last part of the question? Oh, yeah. All the other drivers from moment one have been amazing. They've been very helpful, very generous with information. I couldn't ask for more. So I think that the other drivers seem very respectful, and I've had really no problems. I think just a couple of unfortunate things on track, but other than that, everybody's been really good. And I was even out there in practice today, and Carl went by me and he stuck his hand out the window. I don't know if he was trying to say, like, thanks for, follow me or whatever, but I was taking it for the best that it was. I was thinking he was saying follow me, and I couldn't for the life of me keep up. But, drivers are all very nice out there.
Wrap it up for us, Mulhern.
Mike Muller, MikeMullern.net. We've been talking with some Sprint Cup drivers about you the last couple of weeks, obviously, and they say basically, most of them, that you're going to have to make a decision sooner or later, either IndyCars or this, and if you're going to do this, then you've got to totally immerse yourself in this like Juan Pablo did. Do you agree with that? And if so, what you're thinking about the time frame?
Well, yeah, I think if you want to be really good at anything, you have to obviously centralize your focus. But, at this point in time, I have a tremendous amount to learn. And, even if it was full-time, would it be going better? Maybe. But it wouldn't be some, big dramatic, I don't think, difference. It's really getting this base of knowledge right now is the hardest part. And, we're going to do the schedule like this for this year and next year, and then we'll sort of assess where we're at and what we think we want to do in the future. And maybe it'll be more of both. Maybe it will be one. Maybe it will be the other. I'm really not sure. I've been fortunate enough in my career that what I've wanted to do has been available for me. So this year I really wanted to run both, and I wanted to check it out and, see how it went and, get my feet wet and play around, and, we'll just see where that goes.
Thank you, Danica.
Thank you.
Good luck tonight.